On number 10, it is the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento. It has a 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10 engine with 570 horsepower. It also has a fully proper 4-wheel drive system, which can take this car from 0 to 60 in just 2.5 seconds. The reason this car is so fast, not only because its engine and drivetrain, it's also because it is light. Despite that engine and drivetrain, this car weighs less than a family hatchback. Lamborghini haven't even given the car proper seats. The seats are actually just some cushions and pads in seat shapes stuck on directly to the carbon fiber monocoque chassis. There is no dashboard in the car. The car does not even have paint. In fact, its color comes from crystals embedded in the bodywork. The body of the car is made from a blend of carbon fiber and plastic, which is jointly developed by Lamborghini and Boeing. All in all, the Sesto Elemento will cost you a princely sum of $2.6 million. On number 9, it is the Lexus LFA. This has a 4.8 liter naturally aspirated, screaming Formula 1 sounding V10. It produces 552 horsepower, which is enough to take the car from 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds. The engine in this car is so exquisite that it revs from idle to the red line, which is 9,000 RPMs, in an almost unbelievable 0.6 seconds. In fact, Lexus could not fit this car with a regular conventional speedometer because it simply can't keep up. It had to be electronic. It took 5 years of hard work to build the Lexus LFA, and just before they put it on sale, someone in the production department suggested that it would be better if the car was made from carbon fiber, and they began all over again. All we know is that Lexus loses money on every single piece that leaves the dealership. It is also one of the most expensive cars in its class. It is the arch rival to the Ferrari 458 and the Lamborghini Gallardo. And instead of costing just $200,000, it costs $500,000. On number 8, it is the brand new Lebanese hypercar. It's called the W Motors LYKAN HYPERSPORT. This will cost you almost $3.5 million. But for this sort of money, you would be expecting a big engine like a V8, V10 or even a V12. But all you get is a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged rough V6. Now that said, this engine is quite fast. It has a top speed of 250 miles an hour and will do 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. And has a total power output of 780 horsepower. The reason this car is so expensive though is not because of its exquisite engine, is because the headlights of this car are studded with diamonds for better clarity and better view on the road. On number 7, it is the new Italian supercar company called Mazzanti, and their latest incarnation is the Evantra. This has a 7 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine, which is so exquisite that you get 700 horsepower from the naturally aspirated V8. It has a top speed of well over 200 miles an hour and will do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. The designer and owner of the company, Mr. Luca Mazzanti, says that the new 2016 and 17 version will be available with the same engine but a much more improved power output of almost 1000 horsepower. All in all, this car is going to cost you well over $1.5 million. On number 6, it is the latest incarnation of Dodge and the newest successor to the Hellcat Challenger. It is called the Dodge Demon. It has the same 6.2 liter supercharged V8 engine as found in the Hellcat, but this is a heavily reworked version with a new exhaust system. Instead of 707 horsepower, this bad boy produces 840 horsepower. This also has a recorded quarter-mile lap time of 9.6 seconds, which is by far the fastest road legal production quarter-mile time ever to be recorded. Dodge is not using any exquisite materials in building this car, like carbon fiber, aluminium or magnesium. This car's engine is not made from exquisite materials, it's made from cast iron. And that said, this car is going to cost you under $100,000, so this is a new underdog here for the other competitors. On number 5, it is the newest incarnation by McLaren, the new hybrid supercar called the P1. It has a 3.8 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine and a battery pack, which in total gives the car 904 horsepower, which is enough to get this car from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds and go over a top speed of 217 miles an hour. That said, this car is produced to be going very fast and being economical at the same time due to its battery pack. This car can achieve more than 25 miles to the gallon. The brakes of this car are made from silicon carbide, one of the most hardest substances known to mankind. Now all that said, the McLaren P1 is going to cost you $1.7 million, and yet you don't get many creature comforts. It's made for pure speed and track day challenges only. On number 4, it is the arch rival to the McLaren P1 and the latest hybrid supercar by Porsche called the 918 Spider. Like the McLaren P1, this is a hybrid supercar. It has a 4.6 litre naturally aspirated V8 engine and a battery pack at the back. In total, this gives the 918 Spider a power output of 887 horsepower and 940 pounds-feet of torque. The Porsche 918 Spider can go from 0 to 60 in just 2.4 seconds and a top speed of 211 miles an hour. It might not be able to match the top speed of the P1, which is 217 miles an hour, but because of its 4-wheel drive system and 4-wheel steering, it's faster than 0 to 60 and way faster on a track. In fact, the Porsche 918 has recorded the Nürburgring lap time of 6 minutes and 57 seconds, which is the fastest road legal production car on the Nürburgring. And inside the 918 Spider, you do get some actual creature comforts. The roof lifts off so you can have some open top fun. You get heated and ventilated electric leather chairs, a 12-speaker premium sound system, and all in all, the 918 Spider is much cheaper than the P1. This is an all-round better achievement than the P1. On number 3, Ferrari have also gone into the pain of producing a supercar with hybrid technology. It is the rival to the Porsche 918 Spider and McLaren P1. Now whereas those two have V8 twin turbocharged engines, the LaFerrari has none of that. It has a 6.3 litre naturally aspirated V12 engine. And whereas the Porsche and the McLaren can be run on electric power alone, the LaFerrari can't, because it has in effect of its Formula 1 racing team KERS system, kinetic energy recovery system. The battery pack recovers any energy that's wasted from the engine and keeps it for when it needs it. For example, while braking, the power wasted from the engine is recovered by the battery and kept aside for when you need it. Now Porsche and McLaren think that they have created good looking supercars, but I think that the LaFerrari sets a proper example of what a supercar should look like. Now all that said, the LaFerrari is also the most expensive of the lot at $2.5 million, and with 963 horsepower, it is the most powerful road going Ferrari ever gone into production. On number 2, it is the car that actually challenged the Bugatti Veyron for its crown for the highest top speed. It is the Koenigsegg 1:1. Now, as the name suggests, 1:1 is the power to weight ratio of the Koenigsegg. It is very tough to achieve this power to weight ratio in the car world, but the engineers at Koenigsegg have done it. Now, unlike the Veyron, this does not have a massive 16-cylinder engine, but it has a 5.5 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine, and yet it produces 1349 horsepower and the weight of the car is 1349 kilograms, 1:1 power to weight ratio. Unlike the Veyron, this car does not have a 4-wheel drive system, it's rear wheel drive, and yet it can go from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, the same as the Veyron, and will go over a top speed of 255 miles an hour, which is a few miles faster than the Bugatti Veyron. With a price tag of $6 million, the 1:1 is one of the most expensive cars in the world, and with a limited production number of under 100 pieces, this car also is one of the most rarest cars on the planet. And finally, on number 1, this is the latest incarnation by the people who actually broke all the land speed records. It is the newest successor to the Bugatti Veyron. It is called the Bugatti Chiron. It has the same 8-liter quad-turbocharged W16 engine as the Veyron, but this one has been heavily reworked, so it produces 1500 horsepower. With a fully 4-wheel drive system and brand new Michelin Cup 2 tires specially developed for the Chiron by Bugatti and Michelin, this can go from 0 to 60 in under 2.5 seconds and will do a top speed of over 261 miles an hour, which has been electronically limited by Bugatti. Now Bugatti says that this will go to a top speed of over 290 miles an hour, but has been electronically limited to 261 because it is more than enough to break all possible land speed records. This car also breathes in the amount of air that a regular person breathes in 2 weeks in every minute. Now all that said, this car is going to cost you a princely sum of $2.6 million.